One of the most beautiful parts of the spiritual journey is following the Easter eggs, following the trail of signs and synchronicities and symbols and hints and nudges that our higher selves, our guides, our inner knowing, the angels, the universe points us towards or puts along our path. And when we are in a state of surrender and flow, and most importantly, trust, we find that those Easter eggs just begin to appear everywhere. And that trust, yes, it has to do with trust in our guides, it has to do with trust in the journey, it has to do with trust in Source or God or the universe, however you define that. But most importantly, it has to do with trust in ourselves, because ultimately we are one with our guides and the angels and Source and our higher self. And ultimately, if we are not able to surrender to our own inner trust, then we'll always be looking outside of ourselves for the guidance, the wisdom, and those Easter eggs. But there's a difference between searching for the Easter eggs and allowing them to just unfold. And so when we find ourselves searching for them or demanding answers or feeling uncomfortable with the uncertainty, those are all signs that it is time for us to let go of control, to allow the process to unfold, to allow ourselves to not know. Just as we found when we were youngsters, when we were bored and we didn't know what to do and we were without direction, we were without entertainment or stimulation from outside of ourselves, that's when our imagination blossomed, right? It was forced to. Either that or we were miserable. So it's not so different now. When we're in a state of frustration and seeking external answers or validation, those are all signs for us to pause and breathe and surrender and allow ourselves to flow with the divine timing and with our own expansion, our own growth, and with the path that is in front of us, the path that we set out for ourselves. So enjoy the Easter eggs, enjoy the hunt. It's so interesting. I've been receiving some new messages here recently, and yesterday I had another group come through, and I'm putting together the information on that for you guys. But I found myself to be so excited, so thrilled, so much joy, so much wonder and enthusiasm for it. And it wasn't because a glob of information was just downloaded into my awareness. It was because, which those are exciting too, but the real excitement for me came from the unfolding of putting the pieces together. So one synchronicity and one nudge led me to a piece of information, which led me to another piece of information, which led me to another piece of information. And had I not had to take that time within myself to allow this to unfold, to allow myself the exploration of this information, to allow myself to actually co-create the unfolding of this information with my guides, it would have been fantastic, but it also, there's a special magic that happens when we work in co-creation with our guides, our higher self, the universe, the divine, source, God, again, however you want to label it. There is a magic that happens. There is a raising of our frequency that happens when we work hand in hand that way. Certainly there will be times when information, it just is plopped into our lap, and that is just as beautiful. But let's not get to a point of demanding information to be plopped into our lap, because maybe it's not the time for it. And maybe you won't get the fullness of that information unless you go on the journey and co-create it with your guides, with the divine. There's so much joy to be experienced in that relationship. It requires surrender. It requires trust. But again, trust in yourself, because when you're in that space of co-creation, you have to be able to trust in yourself that you are on the right path, that you are feeling those nudges, that you are having awareness, not of coincidence, but of synchronicity, of signs, of signposts, of subtle direction changes. And when you are in that state of flow, that state of co-creation, that's when the magic truly happens. And that's when the magic of our imagination assists us, because imagination is seeing beyond the physical reality here, right? So when we get in that state of flow, then we allow ourselves to open up to receive even more. And that's kind of the irony of it, is that when we step into the state of co-creation and we stop just waiting for the answers to be delivered, that's actually when the answers are delivered. When we're reaching for something, then we are implying and stating to the universe that it's not already within reach, that it's not already within our grasp. So when we open up and we allow ourselves to, again, co-create and to be an active participant in it, allow ourselves to be guided, then we show our guides and the divine that we are ready. We are a participant. And we are honoring our own ability to uncover the information as well. We're trusting in ourselves. We're trusting in our intuition. We're trusting in our own inner knowing. And we're not relying on something that we actually are viewing in the moment as external to us when we're in a state of demanding or uncertainty because of not hearing maybe an answer we want to hear in that moment. So, and I don't say any of this as coming from a place of judgment, because I've certainly been there myself. Last summer was a very tumultuous time for me. And part of that was a difficult period of relationship with my guides. And as we all know, that indicates a difficult period of relationship with oneself, right? And there was a point in time when I told my guides specifically to off. I wasn't doing it anymore. Wasn't going to play those games. They could either tell me and we could move on, or I wasn't going to do this anymore. And as soon as I did that, then I realized that it was, maybe not as soon as I did that, but within a few days, within a week or so, I realized it was me not trusting in myself. me looking outside of myself in that perspective for answers when I wasn't willing to listen to the answers within me. So you see the conundrum there. So I totally understand being in that state of wanting the answers, not wanting to feel uncomfortable, not wanting to feel the uncertainty, not wanting to feel like one is being jerked around by their guides or the angels. But truly, I don't believe that's ever what happens. I don't believe that they, and maybe this is my personal opinion, my personal belief, but my personal belief is they don't mess with us that way. When that type of situation arises, it's us messing with ourselves, causing some sort of restriction or blockage or conflict. And that is indicative of something that's arising within us that is asking us for our attention. So do your best to move into surrender. Do your best to move into allowing for the unfolding. And do your best to sit with those parts of you that feels very uncomfortable, because it is trying to tell you something. And if you can be the observer in those moments, then you may get some really beautiful clues as to what you haven't seen or what you've been avoiding. And all of those aspects of you are worthy. All of those aspects of you are meaningful, valuable, and are worthy of your love and your attention. Okay, I think that's it for now. I will be back. Like I said, I am working on some other new information for you, and I'm really excited to bring this. I need a little bit more time in integrating it and understanding it, because it's deep, before I try to explain it to someone else. So, but stay tuned. Make sure that you're subscribed or you're following me here wherever you're seeing this, and I will be back very soon. In the meantime, as always, sending you all so much love and gratitude, and thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing this journey with me, and I'll talk to you soon.